What up, though? Welcome, welcome. You are here because you want to learn some advanced copywriting and marketing concepts. So, we're not going to hesitate to give you exactly what you're looking for here today. I'm proud to represent the word for today is actually being insurance, but we'll get into that in a moment. The reason that you're here today is to understand strategy, a very unique strategy called the legacy leak strategy. And we're going to actually go into what that means on how that would impact you in here in this actual training here today. And so when you look at the legacy leak strategy, finally fits the plan. The legacy, we're going to talk about how you're helping people recognize a costly leak they didn't know existed, then giving them the plan and tools to actually fix that leak. So we're not competing for people who are already shopping for a solution. We're actually helping people discover that, hey, that makes them need the solution. So we're helping them discover the leak that helps them need that solution. So you're going to create here in this learn in this training here today how to create customers instead of competing for customers, and so that way you'll be able to have the whole strategy and the mindset. So one thing that you have to realize, and a lot of people have this realization, is again, a lot of people in marketing or business, we get into this headspace that I'm going to pay for advertisement. I'm going to pay for video editing. I'm going to pay for content. I'm going to pay for people. I'm going to pay for more tech tools. I'm going to pay for software, etc. And then I'm going to make money. And when you remove what you spent from what you made, that's what profit is. And we're going to talk about a concept that's kind of different from that here today with the legacy leak strategy. Because again, with the cheapest price, the limited offer, the buy now, we're going to talk about how the best customer is going to even actually pay twice when you have that the right type of setup. So let's talk about this most aware market and the ideas and insight that I'm providing for you. It's not from Adriane Mayes is amazing, but my mentor, 8 figures mentor, Dan Henry, has already having these process proven in regards to $40 million in online sales. So you don't have to be only marketing for you, marketing for other people. You realize that your true enemy, it's not the competitors as they make you actually want to believe. Your true enemy, as we go into a little bit more insight, is the bad explanations, the old beliefs, the status quo, the you don't beat competitors, as my mentor actually shared with us. You replace the explanation. So you don't beat competitors, you replace the explanation. And how you do that? You do that with clarity. So if people don't understand what you're saying, that's your true enemy, is understanding this insight. So let me give you a little bit more concept in regards to a little clarity with that. Okay. So this here, if you're in marketing, something called level of customer awareness. Okay. So the levels of customer awareness, most people don't know what this means, but maybe hardcore marketers may have some kind of honesty insight. You may have heard of this before, but let me explain it to you. So awareness creates action. And this visualization can kind of give you that idea. So the most aware, they're ready to take action. You can see them on the top right-hand side. But let me walk you through how you get to that most aware status. So you start off, most people are unaware. They don't see the problem at all. Something is not even right. So they're not even in the space of knowing that there is a problem in the first place. And then so now that they've actually been exposed that there's a problem, they're like, oh, there's a problem. Okay. Now I see what you're saying in regards to that. And so now that you're problem aware, you understand what the problem is, which moves you to the solution aware market. Now you know it's a solution. I know what the problem is, but what I can decide on the best approach, in regards to that solution. So one solution over the next, which one is best? And so with that stage, you go from solution aware because again, now I got to get a product to give me the exposure to that. So I understand what I'm going to do now. All right. Now, which option am I going to choose to get rid of this problem that I've just become aware of? And then you get to the most aware locations. You're like, okay, I'm ready to make a decision. Give me a reason to buy now. So that is how you go from unaware. You're taking the people from unaware to most aware. So I understand that a lot of you may be lost in regards to marketing. And so what we're going to try to give you real life examples, the marketing that has happened in time. So that way you can be able to kind of get the clarity in regards to one thing to another. So let me give you a hardcore example to understand that people go from an unaware, problem aware, solution aware. That's called action to get you from awareness increasing, but the market gets smaller, as you can see, as education actually increases. Because again, education takes something called action. So let's do something in regards to go through an actual example my eight-figure mentor, Dan Henry, actually has in regards to a tax lawyer, for example, to take this concept and see it in reality. So let's take an example for a tax lawyer, okay? So a tax lawyer, you realize that, again, the level of customer awareness, where are we in regards to this process? So the tax lawyer lets the person know, I pay about $100,000 a year in taxes. And so you're in the space like, that's just how it is. But when you go and say, find out, like, "Oh, there's a problem. I feel like $100,000 is too much. So then you go into a problem aware state where you're realizing that, okay, the amount that I've been paying consistently, it might be actually something I can do about that. And so now you go into the problem aware. And so when you go into the problem aware and then you start to listen and get a little bit more information, and then so now you know there's a solution to that $100,000 a year you're paying in taxes to actually legally reduce it. Wow. So then your mind is like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this for so long. There's a solution where I don't have to keep doing this. And then you get the actual education behind it. People go to tax lawyers for different reasons, to set up trust, to for foundations. So picking out the customization of the product that's right for you, that makes you product aware, to figuring out where you want to invest your money by listening and the education they provide for you. That helps you to get to the most aware to help you to buy now and invest in that tax lawyer. Does that make sense? So just giving you an idea of taking you from unaware, oh my gosh, I just paid $100,000 in taxes, to, oh my gosh, I pay $100,000 in taxes and there's something I can do about it. So that allows you to kind of get an idea of a scenario to get you from unaware to must aware. So all you understand is the real problem most business owners, most marketers, most individuals have is trying to promote. They suffer from small thinking. Now they go to after the most aware people, only even just after the solution. Aware people, they're just trying to understand and think of what they heard, right? So they do what others do like the Romans do. Now we call it small thinking, but you don't know what you don't know. And so what happens is, this is fine advice in regards to, for example, what they share with us is to go into those areas, like, for example, Facebook communities, or where your actual audience that you're speaking of will actually land. Go into those communities and be able to help those others. And what in the concept that I'm producing for you is, don't limit yourself. That's fine advice to go towards those most aware people. But again, you want to encourage to think bigger. And I'm going to explain what it means in a second to what it's did. But you want to make sure you have great promotion of your product and the strategy they can scale their business for years and years and years. But you have to get over the small thinking of and understanding that the most and staying in one space in regards to that. The best person that actually can help think about the concept of changing from small thinking is Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was brilliant. The founder of Apple, rest in heaven. He didn't care what people, he didn't care what other people thought and what type of computer they actually wanted to create. He created the type of computer, and then he educated the people on what they're doing now is bad. So he educated them on the solution in regards to what he imagined and what he experienced. And so tackled those problems that other people were having. Oh, there's a way to have faster processing. Wow, we can have more storage. You can get it for a cheaper price or even have more better features. So Steve Jobs was so brilliant in regards to the concept of reimagining what was possible, creating something simple enough for the masses to take a hold to it, beautiful enough to understand, and magical enough to transform people to want to throw money at it and buy. So much that Apple scaled to be in not one, not two, three, but four or five categories in regards to being able to niche. You know, they tell you that niche down to a certain market, five different categories of loyal customers, unstoppable growth, and massive demand. And so, in regards to Apple, we're at Apple Nation, right? It's so funny, and so making sure that you anyway, you have a lot of examples of this, but this is one example is with Apple, okay, where Steve Jobs was able to take the concept and think bigger. So, in other words, you're taking from a small market where people are likely competing, saying the same things to everyone: buy my deal now, best deal ever, limited offer. So, in other words, there's a lot of competition there and a lot of noise. But again, you want to think bigger, right? So, the vastness of space over in the low competition, quiet side, nobody's fishing over there. But it's upon you on how to get to the bigger fishing pond. So, just to kind of see, this here is a representation of the market universe. Okay. This represents where most people are. And most people are in the vastness of space where people are just where they are, right? But in the bottom right hand corner, excuse me, are where the most aware are. And this teeny tiny box of people, of the most aware people that I just walked you through, that understand that they actually have a problem and are going to look for a solution. So the thing is, you can make money from this mass market universe, or you also can make money from the little teeny tiny small most aware market as well, because people like to be with people. And that's what you have to realize. People like to be around people. And so when you realize it and grow and build with that, people want to be around people, that's where the legacy link strategy comes in, right? We don't want to chase customers, you want to pull them. And how do you do that in regards to pulling them? That's what we're going to go through in regards to this strategy here today, giving you the clarity of the legacy leak strategy, taking you out of where you were but where you are now. So let me give you a kind of the insight. If you remember from school, something called the event horizon, right? The event horizon being a point of no return. Once you see something, it's so bad, it's so hard to unsee it. So, in other words, same thing with the legacy leak strategy. Once they see that leak, the whole concept that Unica Gaines and Adriane Mayes have of the building wealth and legacy with AI, expose people to provide them to the opportunities. So now when they're solution aware, right? We gave them the information, they understood what it is. And so once they get over there, now it's all about choice. All about choice. You now know that there's something going on. You know that there's a problem. And that is literally seeing something, saying something, and doing something, right? So you see something, say something, do something about your own leak, your own strategy. That's how the event horizon, that's the kind of concept we're looking. And it's kind of similar, if you recall, the blue ocean strategy. Now, the blue ocean strategy, if you've never heard of the blue ocean strategy, is kind of the frame of mind where you're creating your customers and versus just going and fighting in the same crowded location where everyone is. So you're creating the demand by meeting needs that aren't being met yet. No direct competition, new demand, high differentiation, higher profits and growth. Those things happen because you're creating, okay? Now, how it works is you're looking beyond the competition with the blue ocean strategy. And the same thing with the legacy leak strategy. You're identifying unmet needs. You're seeing what the customers want and truly value by listening and paying attention. You're creating unique value, something like designing a differentiator instead of going out there and being like the masses, opening up new market space and opportunity, which will allow you to enjoy sustainable growth in due time. So that is what the whole blue ocean strategy and the legacy leak strategy, which they align with one another to be able to get you from A to B, right? So I want, in other words, to know you're going from unaware. Sometimes you need a hammer to get out, know that I got a problem. You're not shopping for a problem, but that education along the way allows you to see that you're going from unaware to aware. Okay. And so that solution aware, no, oh, now I see I have a problem. And then eventually they become a customer and buy because they invest in your solution in regards to, they invest in your solution to, or your offer in order to get through that problem. So you don't find customers, you create them. You don't find customers, you create them. So in any business opportunity, situation, there's a way that you can actually create an info product. I don't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a tax lawyer, a doctor, an athlete, a construction worker, a roofer. Everyone has a story in a way that they've actually done things. So every business having this story, you can easily sell info products to educate customers. And almost every business that can scale either has one or two things. They have an immense amount of capital, or they educate unaware customers to make them aware and turn them into customers, or they have a mechanism, right? A way to sell that education so that they don't have to pay for customers, because the customers, the best customers, they pay twice. So almost every business that scales either has one or two things. They have an immense amount of capital to educate unaware customers or unaware people, because people turn them into customers, or they have a mechanism or a way to sell that education so that they do not have to pay for customers, because the customers that pay twice, those are the best customers. So you're educating one of two ways that was described. And education is the one weapon no one can take you to get you to that freedom. The best customers you'll find are those best customers that pay twice. So how do you create those customers, you ask, right? Let me go through an example to kind of give you a concept of what this means. So my mentor, Dan Henry, on the right-hand side, worked with the powerhouse Billy Mays. And Billy Mays worked for a company called OxyClean back in the 90s. And back in the 90s, OxyClean was a laundry detergent company similar to like a Tide or a Dreft, right? But OxyClean laundry detergent was doing $10 million a year. So they hired Billy Mays, I love the last name, hired Billy Mays on the left-hand side to become a pitch man to do an infomercial. And 5 years later, they were doing $100 million. And literally Billy Mays helped them go from 10 million to $100 million because of his pitch, the way that he was actually able to present OxyClean. And Dan Henry got trained from the same trainer that the OxyClean trainer Billy Mays was trained from. And so we're going to go through an example of where Dan Henry earlier in his career, and similar to like it's one of the examples that my sister used to sell knives. But you know how like in Sam's Club or Costco's, or they have these different demonstrations or demo people that will actually sell for you. So I'm going to go through an example of something called some cookware. So Dan Henry worked at like a Costco, Sam's Club type deal, and they were doing demonstrations. And so they were introducing the idea of cookware, of Teflon, for that Teflon was bad for you. Okay. So in regards to how they show people it was bad for you, it showed them what Teflon can do that was bad. It provided a story around what Teflon. It was even in the news, Teflon fuming, killing a bird. And then the takeaway in regards to knowing now the education, oh, I know now about Teflon. So what they did was educate Teflon is bad for you, what it can do for you, gave 4 bullet points on why Teflon is bad for you. The fumes can cause flu-like symptoms. They can be toxic to birds and pets, can cause headaches and dizziness or nausea, or it can even be linked to long-term contracts. So the thing is, nobody ever knew about Teflon. And like, okay, geez, now I understand. Then you understand that, okay, that's what it can do. Then there's a story tied to it. Well, someone left it on the pan on the stove and it was in the newspaper. So that validates what was going on with Teflon. Then you go to the next step is the takeaway. Know what you know. Now I have the education and you have that information and you go take it to your family, right? So that information, you take it to the next step. You say, I'm not just educating you. I know a better solution. So what they did was present a better solution than Teflon, the titanium cooker. So now if you're a Teflon user and you know this education, I know it's bad for me. If I have pets, I know that it was, thank you so much, Victoria. What up, though, sis? How are you, my love? And so if you have this information and you know what's going on, then you really will have to take it to the next step by educating the customer, like, oh, I get it. That's a problem. And so you're understanding once you get that cookware, you get that demonstration, better cookware, better health, and better life. And so showing that how this can work from A to B, that's how you change and create your own customers. So when you're actually knowing then that something is wrong, you have created that awareness like, oh, okay, something is wrong. So you didn't know there was a problem. And so now that you know there was a problem and you're giving people that information, but it doesn't matter, my friends, if I give you the information and you don't have the right tools. Marketing doesn't matter without ingredients. Let me say that again. Marketing doesn't matter without ingredients. What does that mean? I mean, you could be beating yourself up, but it might not even be you. You could be in the wrong market. You can have the wrong big idea. You can even have the wrong mechanism. But just say, for instance, for example, you hired a five-star chef, right? Five-star chef to cook an amazing birthday dinner that you had planned for yourself. Let's just visualize. Let's future pace. My birthday being September 6th. No, no, no worries. And so, I mean, you hired a five-star chef. You want to have an amazing dinner. Oh, look, I'm about to go ahead and do my favorite things real quick. So you want to have your amazing lasagna. You want to have some not a delicious salad, and you want a lemon cake, right? But I go to the grocery store to get the materials for my lasagna, right? But when I go and get it, I don't get lasagna sauce. I get relish, and I don't get the pasta noodles. I get spaghetti noodles, and I don't get the ricotta and the cottage cheese. I get American cheese. And so my point is, I bring all these different things back. I don't get eggs that are fresh. I get spoiled eggs. I bring everything back and tell my five-star chef, come on, I need you to create this birthday dinner. The chef looking at me like, what are we going to do with these ingredients? This is spaghetti noodles, not pasta noodles. What is this relish? What is this? Not spaghetti sauce. So my point is being, it doesn't matter if you're a five-star chef, an amazing top at your game, but if you don't give someone the right ingredients, how are they going to have the right outcome? And that works the same for marketing. There's no way that you don't, and I'm going to go through what those ingredients look like in order for the outcome to be effectiveness and what that effectiveness looks like as well in regards to measuring it. So you have a big idea in regards to clear pain, unique mechanism, and proof. These are some of the ingredients that are needed in regards to a good marketing campaign. So let me give you an example of something of copywriting and some pioneers of copywriting that you should actually know. The individual Dan Kennedy and Bill Glazer. Copywriting is so key because again, it's not just about writing down words and having an outcome. Copywriting is huge as the way that you have the psychology that you're talking to people, the way that you reach out to people. That's what Dan Kennedy and Bill Glazer actually mastered. And Bill Glazer was known as the godfather of copywriting. Just reading, of course, and understanding how effective copywriting is. And one of the favorite books that I've read with copywriting several times, Jim Edwards' Copywriting Secrets, and understanding that copywriting frameworks, several different ways that you can actually speak with people, but clarity is what's so key. So build these pioneers of copywriting years, these high-end luxury copywriting, they would actually, for example, have newsletters and now they're called video sales letters or what have you. But back in the day, they didn't have those different, techniques like we have with social media and blogs and things that we can do. So anyway, Bill Glazer actually had a daughter, Maura Glazer, and my mentor, Dan Henry, went to go visit Maura Glazer and was talking about some copywriting as Bill Glazer passed on his business down to Maura Glazer. And so and going in conversation, Dan Henry relayed to us that they would have, what Bill Glazer would do with Maura Glazer. So excuse the name at the top, but he would actually sit down, and instead of like taking his daughter to to the amusement parks or to the park or anything, or go play soccer or something like that, he would actually have them little red market exercise, going through copy while, just circling things in copy that were incorrect. So this was their fun game that Bill Glazer and Maura Glazer had in order studying copy as a child. So of course, her legacy path was already put in front of her. And so, in regards to this, what Dan Henry decided to do was invest in Maura Glazer's business and see how the ins and outs of that process works. Because again, what happens with copywriting, everybody has a style. There's so many different methods. There's so many bridges. There's so many opportunities. But how you do it, you can ask all day in doing research. But he went ahead and invested 20,000 in the copyright service, and getting that 20,000, she wrote a powerful sales letter. And then from that, the product went well, made a lot of money. But the key thing that Dan loved and what I love to do, like what I'm doing right now, is going through and taking and looking at the structure of the process so you can go and apply that to the masses. So that is exactly what he did. That's exactly what we're doing here in regards to the legacy leak strategy as well. But what you realize when you do this, and when Dan Henry met with Maura Glazer, and one of the main things that he realized about copywriting is, how those questions that seem so irritating, those questions are gold. All like, what's the biggest challenge your customers face? What happens if they don't solve the problem? What almost stops them from buying? What have they tried in the past? What the ideal response do they want? What do they believe that isn't true? What do they wish they had that they didn't know that they have? Why not? Why now change? All of these questions, and I know my business owners and my entrepreneurs, even athletes or individuals that are looking to get started, all of these questions seem like, but now with ChatGPT, leverage the things that you need. But these questions are what help you in regards to writing good copy. Because what a copywriter does, even in the era of AI, you still want to have some type of structure and functionality, because bad in, bad out, right? So whether they say garbage copy in is going to have garbage copy out. So the gold is in the details, asking those deep questions. A good copywriter's job is to uncover those hidden benefits, those pain points, as well as those buying and those objections, those triggers. That's how you find gold. It's in the details of listening. That's why it's the you versus you in regards to this story of getting to the best version of yourself. So understanding that all of those annoying questions that are asked when intake processes, hopefully this slide will give you a little bit more insight as to why, because that $1 million, if not $1 billion concept already within your story, it's right in there. You got to keep asking questions. And yes, it does get exhausting, but again, getting to that gold where you can share in hope of saving someone's life with your story is so key. So when you understand the ideas and that copywriting needs some type of segment, a before and after, what it looks like if you don't have a big idea or one of the ingredients that's actually off, then the outcome is it might be failure in your copy. So the required ingredients are who you're talking to, the pain, the stakes, the root cause of their actual problem. Having a big idea, a unique mechanism your way, and proof, and we're going to go through here shortly what those different ingredients mean. But after that, nothing is missing. Everything starts working. And you'll think that it's magic, but it's science. So when you do the work, you ask the right questions, you get the results that you're looking for. So you have to do the work, ask the right questions, listen, and get the right results to get what you're looking for. Does that make sense? So in regards to, thank you so much, Victoria, for showing up, work together at Radio One and being able to just be supportive and knowing how valuable that copywriting is. Very proud of you as well in this journey, growing and building. What up, though, Vicky? I know things are going well. We definitely have to reach out as well. So keeping going in regards to the next part of the actual process, let's talk about these ingredients. And let's talk about what it looks like for spices as well. So ingredients are your foundation, okay? So ingredients are those that are going to be part of the structure. Imagine, for example, I was trying to build a massive apartment building in the downtown Detroit, Michigan. What up, though, Detroit? So, say for instance, I was trying to build this a massive apartment building downtown Detroit, Michigan, and I didn't have the right dirt, or I didn't do any testing to make sure that this structure was going to be able to withhold on the dirt. I went and put it in an area where there's a lot of trees and the water comes in and it's right down there by the bridge. And so a lot of foot traffic around the new Gordie Howe Bridge, right? So you have to take into account all of the different ingredients of your structure so that before you even get to your spices. And so that will be able to allow you to sustain and not collapse in any type of understanding. So, right. So we would want an apartment building built on sand. We would like it to be built on something that's sturdy. And that's the same thing with your offer or your product. You have different ingredients. You have the who, the what, who you're talking to, the pain that you're actually talking to, speaking to their pain. You have a big idea, your unique mechanism, and proof that your unique mechanism works. These are the main ingredients without a structure. There's 10 ingredients that we're going to go through here today, but these are the ones without no structure that will collapse without at least these 5 of the 10 ingredients. And same thing for spices. We'll have go through 11 different spices, which include like your story, creating urgency, creating your identity, even future placing. It amplifies your flavor, amplifies never fits, right? Never fits it. So, for example, if there's no foundation and there's spices, that's just like having salt with no steak to put it on, right? Not very tasty. So the whole spices, like having those different things to sit on top of your ingredients, we're going to and lay it out properly. That's going to be able to understand how writing great copy can help you with the right ingredients and the right spices. It's going to make it super duper easy for you to be able to write copy effectively. So let's lay out all of the ingredients and spices so that you can actually understand how you're going to be able to take it from one step to a next. But the key thing about this training, my friends, if you don't get anything about what Adriane Mayes and Enika Gaines is sharing with you here today, you never go broke if you know what to say. You never go broke if you know what to say. It was funny. I had a couple of people ask, Adriane Mayes, why are you showing up live and doing this marketing training workshop, showing businesses and athletes and individuals and entrepreneurs and small business owners what a training would look like opportunity with Adriane Mayes? I said, well, you have to answer yourself that question. If you're able to speak in all rooms, it doesn't matter if you're in a kindergarten class. I put this in my text, and the kindergartners, if I'm talking to the kindergartners on how to get 2 crayons over 1, or if I'm talking to billionaires and trillionaires on strategy on how to leverage the Building Wealth and Legacy with AI memoir. Doesn't matter who you're talking to, but you never go broke if you know what to say. And that is mastering communication is something that everyone should want to be able to do, because again, everybody is in different places. So being able to communicate your product and vision, you don't want to limit yourself. So we're going to go talk about the first ingredient, and we're going to talk about the who. The who. Now, the problem when people ask about, okay, who are you talking about the who? When people actually bring up something called a demographic. Oh, I'm talking to women 25 through 55, business owners, online entrepreneurs. Now, last time I checked, is this the person? Like women 25 to 55. What up, though? So thank you for tuning in. I am the motivated one, and I'm glad that you're receiving the information. So this is a person. Is that a person? No. So an actual talk to a real human in your copy. So you want to talk to, let's give it a name. For example, Sarah. You want to talk to Sarah in your copy and understanding what keeps her up at night, what she wants right now, write to one person so that you're able to understand that pain. You don't want to write to a demographic. There's a big difference. You see what I'm saying? So for example, say for instance, you sat down to write a letter and wanted to write a letter to women who are 25 to 55. That'd be kind of difficult, right? But you can write to a Sarah a person named Sarah being 34 years old, and her daughter's name is Ruth. And Sarah's worried that this thing is happening to her daughter, Ruth, and she can't be able to understand. And so you can write copy about Sarah to her daughter's Ruth because again, you know what the pain is. You're able who you're speaking to, and who's going to buy is Sarah, not a demographic. So understanding that and truly define who you're speaking to, that's so key. And that's the who, not a demographic, but an actual person. So the next one we're going to, once you have that who, they gotta have some pain, right? Ooh, the pain that they may feel. So the second ingredient is the pain that the who has. So we're talking about Sarah, not the demographic of 20 to 55. We're talking about the pain that Sarah has that you're actually being able to actually write to. So when you're talking about pain, and I'm guilty of it, and most people are. We're talking about the pain they feel, not the pain they say. And I'm going to repeat that. We're talking about the pain they feel and not the pain they say, because it's normal that most people do what? They say what? I'm fine. How are you doing today? Oh, I'm fine. Everything's normal. But that real pain is the pain they take when they close that door. That's just how it is. Like, unaware markets hide pain. It's your job to get in there and reveal it and educate them and showing them that what this pain is coming from. It's normal for most people in an unaware market to say, and I'm guilty of it, right? Oh, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm amazing. I remember I remember last year when my sister passed away, September of 2025, last year. And my sister Lynn, rest in heaven, passed away. And how I reacted to it is I smiled and I said, I have an angel. And I still do. I smile and say the same thing, because even in this moment, my sister is with me. My brother is with me. My father is with me. That's how I work. Everybody is different. Now, the pain that I was fine, right? But everybody else thinks of things differently. No, you're not. You have other pain. You have real pain. So they were unaware how I handle pain. I handle pain differently. I handle it outwardly. I just take on God's children and all, angels and all, living or passed away. I know God has a plan. That's how I work. But in other words, some people don't like the fact that you are different and the pain they feel, however it is, that's what you want to talk to. Even though me being different, I still have pain. It just is bottled up, as you see those and you see the image. It's just bottled up in there, and it's weird on how it comes out. Because again, what happens, your pain, that's why I'm sober now. So your pain comes into stakes that you're having in regards to it. What's at stake if you don't take care of that pain? What's at stake if you don't understand your pain? And what's at stake is a lot. And guess what, my friends? Not choosing is still a choice. So you can do nothing, and you can have the same problems that you revealed that they had, that they didn't know that they had before. So you can give them all the education in the world. You tell them that the world is falling, everything is going down. Doesn't matter. You can give them all the education in the world, and they can still do nothing. They can have the frustration, or they can have lost time. They can have those same problems, or they can take action and be able to have relief, progress, and momentum towards their goal. Not accomplishing it right away, but what you're doing is you're taking action from A to B. So taking action, you have relief, progress, and momentum. But like I share with you, not choosing is still a choice. But the thing is, you have to be able to articulate, what does that actually look like? What does it look like if you do nothing? What does it look like if you take action? So if you say, for example, your business will fail. Or I can say, listen, a year from now, 2 years from now, do you want to be still getting paid what you're getting paid right now? Which right now it's not getting paid your value or your worth, right? So think about how just excuses and how time, like, even think about this digital marketing journey, right? Like, I have my business partner, friends, family. When is this going to work for you where your billions are here? And so being on 816 day of the billionaire journey, you're gonna make things work, but you have to trust the process in its time. People are still gonna come at you in all different ways. So what are you gonna go back to your family and your business partner and your friends with? The same excuses? Are you gonna make things up? How many times are you gonna have the same thing you're gonna tell your partner over and over again? It's coming. Oh, it's coming but you gotta know, I just need more time. I've said this line so many times. because it is coming, but it's not my time. It's God's time. And the bad thing is, if it was Adriane Mayes' time, thankfully it's not my time. I'm so thankful it's not, because yes, I would have wanted it 800 days ago. However, I see why I didn't have it 800 days ago as well, because God has you here for a reason. The billionaire journey is not about the money. You have to understand that the action is creating these ingredients, the foundation that I'm talking about. So when those spices come with your story changing, you'll be able to handle it. So not choosing is still a choice. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're exactly where you are today in your situation. So your family, your friends, your business partners, you keep saying that you're going, but as long as you're putting forth action and getting momentum and taking action towards your goal, know that everything in due time, as I'm going to show you, will happen in due time, because you'll get to the root cause. And that's going to be number 4 of your ingredient, that root cause. What is the real problem that I'm actually really having? Is it really what I'm saying it? Think of like an iceberg to give you an example of clarity. So, in regards to the iceberg, and a lot of people may be even watching this workshop here today that may even have the same issue in regards to the workshop being the problem being on the iceberg. It might be low sales, or your problem might be inconsistent leads, or it might even be not enough clients. So, in regards to that being your situation, what are you going to do in those situations? How you're going to be able to outplay those in those scenarios. So with the wrong root cause, and if it's in the wrong market, or if you have the wrong big idea, or you're competing on, you even suffer from small thinking. Those things can actually slow you down in regards to your outcome. So once you realize that the root cause, and what is the root cause, right? What's causing this root cause? What is causing me to have this situation? So number 1, it could be you not having a big idea. You can have an idea, but again, if they don't believe strongly in what you want to sell, they just keep moving. Or they can actually competing on price could be the next one. You could be competing on price instead of competing on brand. Competing on price is more so changing 20% off, 30% off here, 40% off there, versus actually having comfort in regards to your branding and who you are. Or you might have small thinking. You're marketing to a big enough universe because you have been convinced it's all your promotions and discounts and things like this. But the real issue may not even be your offer. It may be your market, your message, or even your mindset. So taking that into consideration, understanding those factors is understanding business in itself. So how you look at the 3 aspects of business doesn't matter. There's 3 aspects of business. There's traffic and getting attention. There's marketing and showing people that you understand their problem better than they do. And then there's sales and getting them to buy your solution. That's it. That is the 3 aspects on how you grow a business. Master these 3, you're a billionaire. So we're talking about today marketing as the legacy leak strategy, showing people that you understand their problem better than they do. This is a strategy that you can actually take into your product to understand how to get people from A to B with the legacy leak strategy, just to kind of give you that idea. So we're talking about that, providing the art of showing someone you understand their problem better than they do. So, in order to be able to do that, you have to understand and articulate to them with words, communicate with them, not just what the problem is, but what the root cause of it is as well. Because that way you sound like a genius. You got to find out what their problem is and not talk generally. So that way you can understand if they have a problem and understand what that problem is. So, for example, take for instance, imagine if I went to the doctor, right? Went to the doctor office. Oh my gosh, doc, it's like I'm having this problem in my chest. The doc comes and says, "Hey, I see that you're having this problem. Okay. And so then educates you and explains to you how your body works. Oh, okay, doc. I understand now why I have a problem in my chest. Just a little gas." So thank you. I'm so glad I went to the doctor. So you need to be able to be the doctor in your business. So, in other words, how you become the genius doctor is you educate people and explain to them why they have a problem, explaining to them clearly, "Oh, that's genius. You have a problem. And so that way the doctor is able to explain and give them the solution to the problem as well. And so that's how you become the genius doctor in regards to that. Let's look at a couple of examples of how marketing and the genius doctor concept has been utilized. The first example that we're going to go through is a really popular weight loss program back in the 90s. It was called P90X. And P90X was a fitness company that doesn't just tell you to work out, it explains why your body is now changing. And so, how their system breaks their plateau. So, they explain the problem, they uncover the root cause, and then they show you exactly how their solution works. So they appear as the genius because they explain to you that you have a problem and how their solution fits it. One of the smartest marketing concepts, once you actually break it down, that aligns 100% with what I'm sharing here with you today. So, for example, they gave you what the problem was. So, if I have plateaued weight loss, I have a lack of muscle definition. If I had a difficulty sticking to a plan, or if I had joint pain and fatigue, I'm like, if I was those individuals with that problem, then you have the cause. Like, you've hit a plateau because your body is adapted to your workouts. And what they have given as a solution, muscle confusion. Muscle confusion is the reasoning. And so you need to invest in P90X to be able to get through this muscle confusion. So the big idea that P90X and the body is being able to take shape from working out and muscle confusion is such a hoax, right? But what it does do, it allows you, it's a program to make you consistently do something day in and day out. So don't you think that's what will happen in regards to change? You see, that's how they created a legacy leak strategy, or in regards to your process, muscle confusion. So it's a program that's based on, if I have these problems, these symptoms, oh, okay, I must have muscle confusion. Then the end result is for me to no excuse but to buy P90X as my solution. And that would be able to solve my problem. So muscle confusion being the situation. Which brings me to ingredient 5. You gotta have a big idea. So the big idea for P90X was to adapt to work so you can keep working out, to keep doing things over and over again. But to explain it in layman terms, the big idea, I want you to visualize a light switch, right? I go into the room and it's dark. I don't see anything going on. That's my old beliefs. But when I get and turn that light switch on, and realize there's another way, if they accept the belief that they buy, right? So they accept your new belief, then that there's a better way, then they actually buy. So that is what the big idea, the new way, is actually going to be able to come into play. The new way, the new path is ingredient 6, your unique mechanism. You don't have to do things like everybody else. And if you're in marketing, what they call people, they say unique mechanism is the way, but the new path or the new way that you're actually going to do it. So this new path, it's simpler, it's easy, it's for you to understand the old way versus the new way. What I did before what I did now. But here's one thing about that new way. The new way has some things going on in between. So it's not just A to B. So you have your current situation. And so your method to get to your desired result, it might include some different tactics, hacks. Heck, you may fail a couple of times. Trial and error. This is the new way. But to get to that A to the B, you got to go through the ups and downs and lefts and rights. It's not as simple as the old path, right? But what happens with this new method is you have this idea, you have the desired result, but to get there, you got to trudge through the storm. And that is how the new path is created. But you know what's easy? And it's very quite easy. And most people like to just go back to the old path, the easy way. Getting comfortable being uncomfortable is not a comfortable thing for most people. So when you look at ingredient number 7 with the old path is where everybody is living. It's, what are they doing? That's not working. The funnels, the same tactic, the same promises, the same competitions on price. People are all tired in there and they're squashed because they're doing more, but maybe it's competing for the same things but everybody's in the same space. That's the problem in itself. So, for example, for weight loss coaches, dieting being hard, the old ways everyone is doing it. What, lose 10 pounds here by dieting here. So, you got to have a new mechanism, unique mechanism that works, that you can show people how it works to be able to get them from A to B, which takes us to ingredient number 8, which is your promise. The promise is huge. You understand what you want and you understand the path to get what you want. And then you understand that the way is bad and the new way is good. The old way is bad and the new way is good, but then you give them a promise. The promise is more so is what you're saying is going to happen if they go with your way. What actually is going to transform when you solve your problem and actually get them from your way. You have to articulate that so clearly so that people understand why the marketing in their business is smart to go with you than someone else. And so in doing that, with the promise, we understand that there's specific beats impressive. Okay. So for example, if you heard someone presenting and we have state of the art technology, world class team, and cutting edge solutions, it just sounds like some more words, jibber jabberish, right? Impressive, yes, but you're going to forget it as soon as you walk out the door. However, if you have a solution where you hear, okay, this can save me 10 hours per week, increase my leads by 35%, cut costs by $12,000 per year. The people that are listening, they're receptive because, again, specific. Oh, yes, Adriane said I can save 10 hours per week. Oh, yes, Adriane said 35% increase in leads. Oh, if I do this, we'll cut my cost by $12,000 a year. This is what is specific, where people remember the game in every way to actually be able to approach it. So, to give you an idea, let me give you an example of an older company called Bowflex. Now, Bowflex was a company again in the 90s or what have you, and it targeted an audience of men between 30 and 50 or 30 and 50. And so if you're 40 years old, the promise that they kept sharing, get in the best shape of your life. That was the promise, that their marketing promise that Bowflex went around. So if you were a male between the ages of 30 and 55, 30 and 55, 30 and 55, and 40 years old, for example, right? And you want the outcomes of the ripped chest at 40. You want the beautiful woman behind you, and you want an easy home gym in an inexpensive amount, $19 a month, to be able to get to your solution, get in the best shape of your life. So what Bowflex did with the right simple ingredients, they provided the promise of getting in the best shape of your life. And then at the age of 40 and beyond, and then those ingredients to get to that promise, the built-in lat tower, the adjustable bicep and tricep, the adjustable upper and lower pulleys, the commercial qualities, those are ingredients to get to that promise. So in other words, it sounds, so if you are older, if you're about 40 and you hear this so many times, get in the best shape of your life. And so those 40 that probably have a little money at this time because they're 40, they've passed or what have you, and they're targeting that audience and articulating the promise to get in the best shape of your life, giving you the visual on what the best shape of your life can look like, having on their real Bowflex real results, sharing that someone has done this. So all of these psychological things are playing into their marketing to encourage you. Hey, are you older? Have money? Buy my product now if you're 40 and you want to get in the best shape of your life. So that's how Bowflex was giving the simple ingredient and the promise to give you at the end of the day to get you to your end goal. So the next one, it has to be the proof is in the pudding, baby. Ingredient number 9, proof. We can talk all day, but if you don't have proof that things work, and all things don't have to be financial proof. But in scenarios, if you hear $32,000 in 30 days, that's proof. That means if I go with your method, there is a mind or a possibility that I can make $32,000 in 30 days. Okay, that makes me make a decision one way or another. Or if I was a weight loss coach and I told a person, you can lose 28 pounds in 90 days. Okay, now, if I wanted to lose 28 pounds and if I wanted to go with your process, then I have the potential to make it in 90 days. Got it. Or if I was a marriage coach or a marriage counselor and they're saying I saved a 12-year marriage. So the person that's receiving, that's in that situation, says, okay, so this individual has saved a 12-year marriage before with their method. They have provided proof that what they're sharing with you with their new path, their unique mechanism, can be able to get them from A to B. So no proof equals no trust. No proof equals no trust. And again, as I showed you in this example, proof doesn't always have to be the $10,000 in 30 days, or I am going to turn over in $1,000 in X amount of time. So in other words, proof is the outcome that, but money is the desire that a lot of people are alike or are attracted to. And I understand why proof is used in regards to money, but it doesn't matter if you like it or not. That's what attracts the people. So, which gets me to number 10, the safety, right? So, even if you have that proof, people still want to have some kind of safety when they actually invest in something. So, for example, if you don't have the results that you want yet, creating some type of safety net or a guarantee, you remove the risk if they decide to go invest with you. So if they can't lose, then they say yes. So there's a lot of different ways. My mentor, Dan Henry, says the lazy way is asking for a money back guarantee. But there's good concept and reasoning in regards to guarantee. And let's talk about it for a moment. So when you think about a guarantee is a two-way street. The person that created the product and the person that's presenting the product. So for example, your guarantee, if you want a guarantee from the person that'll work, how do you understand, especially in our space and coaching and building, and how do you actually understand or have a guarantee? Then I don't know what you're going to do on your end, the level you're going to execute, the amount of time that you're going to listen to what I'm doing, and if you're going to use the step-by-step process to get to A to B. Now, if you do the work, you get the results. If you do the work, you get the results. If you don't do the work, you don't do the work, you don't get any results. So your guarantee ends where your action begins. What Adriane Mayes and Unica Gaines do in regards to our guarantee, we don't do money back guarantee. We guarantee you're happy until you reach what the level of happiness looks for you. For example, when I say billionaire journey to a lot of people, it's very intimidating. That's okay. Understandable. The journey is for me, not you. Understood. But whatever success looks like for you, we ask that in the questionnaire. What does a successful time look like when you invest with time with Adriane Mayes and Unica Gaines? What does that look like? Does that look like 10 leads? Does that look like getting your relationship together in regards to your money? Does that mean understanding AI a little bit further? What does it look like for you? Does it look like in 30 days, I want to have my insurance policies reviewed? I want to have my beneficiaries reached. I want to have my communication and all my paperwork all together. Whatever that looks like for you is for you. And so what Adriane Mayes and Unica Gaines has done is created a community to show you we're in the game with you. You don't have to do these things alone. So having that safety of communicating clearly on what that looks like, so that person has that guarantee. And we want to make sure that people don't ask for a guarantee and enable them and not being able to give them what they need to get them A to B. Because my friends, the seriousness of financial education and literacy and understanding how money, taxes, AI, insurance, estate planning, and systems work, it's huge for Adriane Mayes and Unica Gaines. That is what God has provided us to do. And so the easiest thing is to do what? Guarantee with a 30-day money back guarantee to any of our services. Don't do that. We are in the trenches with you. So if you invest in us, we invest in you, and we don't give up until you're ready. So we give people the grace and time. If you're not ready yet, take your time, because we're going to show up every day and help build for A to B. And if you want us to help you, you too have to show up every day. And that, again, is having someone committed to the process. They're ready to listen. They're ready to execute. They're ready to implement. Or you're looking for someone that's actually looking for an escape hatch, and that person that may want a refund or option or more than a result. So each year, find out if they actually believe in the outcome. And the Building Wealth and Legacy with AI, the outcome, we actually encourage 10 minutes a day for you to challenge yourself for 30 days, just in one lane. That lane could be money, taxes, systems, insurance, estate planning, or AI. And so the guarantee for you to show up, to be in the community, to ask questions, to show how you can actually change or what transformation looks like, the process, we can lay out the process all day, but if you don't take action on that process, then it's just a process. So that's what we're here in regards to giving you that information. So what you have to realize, if you do the work, and it will work if you do the work. So if you do the work, listen, follow a plan and implement, and then you take consistent action in due time and you keep going long enough, results show up. Consistent action plus time equals results all day. So the point is, help people realize the results depending on the effort and showing up in regards to doing that. Because this key slide here, don't stop before the miracles happen. I can shout that from the mountaintops. My friends, what happens is we end up going, we get going, and we get going, and life hits us. Boy, I tell you, life will hit you. This doesn't work. I want my money back. You start pointing fingers, looking at people, and stop looking at all the person you need to look at is right there in the mirror. Stop it. Just stop it. And just stop it. Keep going long enough until the breakthrough happens. What happened? You don't know what the breakthrough looked like. And when you start doing something consistently, it's so funny to me because you think at the end of the goal is just a financial reward. Doing things consistent with myself, going live every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time since May 6, 2025, has been so eye-opening in regards to the changes that I thought would happen. I thought I wanted 1 million people to be watching our podcast. I thought that financially everything will be flowing in. Honestly, what is happening? My communication is getting better. My confidence is getting amazing. I'm able to relate with people in regards to the story. So stop taking all those outwardly things that you're looking for in regards to results and start bringing all the inwardly things that you need to have results. Because what I shared with you before, if your foundation isn't tight, your ingredients aren't secure. When you start sprinkling your spices on top, I'm telling you, with your story and things that happen in future pacing, you want to be prepared in the market. But here's the thing. Most people quit too soon. Keep going because the miracle is often one step away, just one more step away. So just keep going in your process and never give up because that's what happens in regards to that. We talked about the ingredients. Let's get into the spices. Ooh, your story. You are the captor of your soul and your story. It is your story and nobody else's. And this is the one thing that no one can take from you besides education and your mindset, right? Your story is your story. Nobody has your story. No one in this world thinks like you. You know how amazing that is? But at the same time of that being amazing, you have to go out into the world and speak with other people and share with their story, what that story looks like. You have to give them the before. What the story helps people see the problem. Then you have to give them the struggle along the way to get to that after, like, yes, rejoice. So it takes time for you to be able to get from A to B, but you have to know that there is a process through it all, articulating your story, having the clarity of that story, and then being able to get there. That's what you don't want people just to figure it out by themselves in the solution. So you want to put it in a simple way for copy with all of these ingredients. So when you have all of these ingredients laid out, your way that you're actually taking this copy becomes so much easier because you're able to take your story and explain why your new unique story, because it's new, because it's yours, nobody else has it. So that way you're able to help people in regards to blockages and things and building blocks for a great story. So you can tell a story and typically we use like the hero journey, like what happened before, now, and after, or the scary bridge framework, which again, it's like you have a struggle, discovery, and a solution. There's so many different frameworks that you can use. The one that Justin Burns uses a lot that stands out in my head is in regards to a hook and a promise. Then you have the old way and the new way. And then you have 3 things of value that you're going to provide for someone, a relatable story, then a call to action. So many different frameworks that you can actually do. 3 of them, Brendan Kane's framework. So anyway, you try and test different frameworks. That's what you have to do and find out what's resonating with people. But in your framework, you're just kind of describing why your story explains and why the new path existed. So your struggle, what changed, and the solution to help you to get there. So again, then it gets you to the identity shift. This is a nice spice, right? The identity shift. Okay, so we realize I have a story, But what changed and transformed with that story? So that's the identity shift. Because again, think about it like this: Clark Kent is in the beginning stages before. You're confused, you're chasing tactics, you're hoping things work. You're in a space that you're wanting to change to happen. But after you actually go from unaware to most aware, you're clear, you're strategic, you're in control. You're like Superman or even Flash, right? So people buy who they become. So it's, I mean, you might be Clark Kent, but it's sometimes a little difficult for people to invest in Clark Kent because you're confused. And Adriane Mayes is definitely, I've been both of these individuals. You go back and forth, but people buy who they become. Who are you? Who are you representing? What is the product? Is the outcome that people can actually have when they invest with you? That's one of the things that you actually do when you're building a brand in the tribe. And that's why it's so huge and important to build a tribe of winners that you can actually connect with. So people that build tribes we're going to talk about here quickly is let's talk about Alex Hormozy and the More Mosey Nation. I got to put so the More Mosey Nation, if you're actually building a tribe, if you're in the Mosey Nation, then you know about Alex Hormozy. Alex Hormozy has been an amazing entrepreneur. And last year, he broke the Guinness Book of World Records in regards to giving away digital marketing education to individuals, entrepreneurs, business owners, all in school if you wanted to have step-by-step how to transform your life free of charge. Do you know how many people actually invested in it? That part. And then the crazy thing is, just like that, so free does not remove the error and barrier of education, right? So just because I'm going live right here now, or just because somebody's giving you information, the one thing that is missing that I've realized, and I honestly, at the beginning of the digital marketing journey about three years ago, or 4 years ago, and first realizing that, oh, people don't want to work. Like, so you still, even in the More Mosey tribe, given all this information, you still have to want to have work behind it. But what Alex Hormozy has done, which has been amazing in regards to building a $1 billion brand, he spends millions and daily on advertising to have people come into his ecosystem, but he's building a tribe, right? So that tribe that he's utilizing that you're supposed to do, just like what we're going to do too, in regards to the AI Legacy Builder Circle community, you build your brand of folks, and those that roll with you, they roll with you. Ask Justin Burns, just in the AI, Absolute with AI family. We roll with each, that's the tribe. Get it? I get it. And another one is my mentor, Dan Henry, was telling me about, the Boob God. That's this personal brand. How did the Boob God get his name? So Dr. Leonard Hashstein down in Miami, Florida, has done over 30,000 breast procedures, but one breast procedure that he completed was for a real housewife of Miami, a celebrity breast plastic surgery. And so upon doing that celebrity plastic surgery, what Dr. Leonard Hashstein did, he actually filmed it, social media, captured the moments, asked questions, made it engaging, made it an experience, which then resulted in him landing the name, the label, the Boob God. So the Boob God down in Miami, Florida, in this massive plastic surgery, amazing office, has this med spa, and he has this personal brand that builds trust. People, 30,000 procedures, seeing that gives you, if I was going to get my breast done, right? That gives me confidence to know Dr. Leonard Hashstein is the Boob God, right? So it gives you the opportunity. That's how he's branded himself, and to be able to go and help things. And we're, here with Building Wealth and Legacy with AI, we're too branding ourselves. You versus you, find the lead, fits the plan, build the legacy. So building wealth and making it fun and joining a movement to be able to help people get from A to B. That's what we're doing with the AI Legacy Builder Circle community, showing people how to create freedom for your future, showing people the importance of executing their plan with action, fixing what's leaking and focusing on what's working, and then building the legacy, leaving an impact and lasting education for generations to come. That's what the movement is about. And that's what Enika Gaines and Adriane Mayes, and that's why it's so inspirational with the Building Wealth and Legacy with AI movement. And this training here to how to find the leaks, and this legacy leak training is to get you to the best version of yourself and to help you build that wealth that is just waiting to brunch out and be able to just unleash itself in happiness. And so soon, right? Speaking engagements, not just virtually, but face to face, not just in Detroit, Michigan, Tampa, Florida, but all around the world. What up, though? Expanding to maybe Dubai or we're not limited, but the only reason I'm using this slide, my mentor Dan Henry had a coaching client that was a high end coaching client, and for women, and the women did not want to rely on men. That was their thing, and so what he shared was that they did not have clarity in regards to investing, not wanting to depend on men for anything else. So what they did was they had, like a lot of female coaches and brands do this, is have empowerment tribe or have empowerment statements like founder queen or sovereign queen or so those identity to help people build their wealth and their confidence and independence. They adopt a certain identity so they know that once they get finished, that identity, they'll know they're a builder, like, right? So we're a legacy builder with the AI Legacy Builder Circle community. That's where we're going in regards to our next direction, which brings me into our next spice, which is called future pacing. You see what I just did there? Future pacing. I brought you into the world of what we want the future to look like. Doing speaking engagements all over the world, if not virtually, face to face. That's what I showed you in regards to future pacing. So what that is showing people what transformation look like if they invest in your experience. Make them experience the result before they buy. So for example, if you have customers coming in, or if you actually have if you have customers coming in, or if you have clear next steps, or understanding what will happen after they buy, what does transformation look like? And then what can be done 1 year, 10 years, 50, not 50, but 10 years after after your actual invest with your brand. So again, that's what future pacing is. So make them experience the result before they buy. This means again, having those different clear markets and having those steps and getting it. So, for example, in the health market, they do this a lot in regards to showing off your abs or showing their biceps, and then behind them having a group of people that actually, group of people that's actually doing it too. I'm thinking about it as Inika right now in her 30-day challenge with the Legacy Lane Challenge. She's focusing on fitness as I'm focused on systems and money. And so, and with her focusing on fitness, she's showcasing how 10,000 steps every day on a daily basis, what this will look like. And so that way you can take a look and see with consistency, you'll be able to go back and be able to see how this fitness has actually been able to change. Or say, for instance, if you are a charisma coach, and I love this here little mini video, but if you are a charisma coach and you imagine walking into a room and everybody is instantly commanding respect, you versus you in regards to that. Or maybe if you're a relationship therapist, imagine waking up in the morning and having the confidence to know that any problem that's thrown at you, anything that anyone throws at you, you'll be fully within your spirit. You'll be able to answer it. You'll be able to pause, ponder, pray, and proceed using tactics from the Building Wealth and Legacy with AI movement. Being able to understand that your product is made up of a solution for a person. Make them have that experience before they buy. So imagine that room. And even if you have to use AI to do it, right? So to get to that, you're not even going to be stressed if you can picture what your life would be like if you actually looked into future pacing. What brings me to atoms, right? The world, not to take you back to science, as most people didn't like science back in school, but the world is made up of matter, which is also incorporated with what? Atoms. So atoms is like what's inside the box. So that what that means is like anything in life. That means that anything at the end of the day, that's what makes atoms. Everything in the universe is atom. It's including the offer that you're actually in components of the offer that you actually offer, the product that you offer. So the atoms is what the offer is made of that you're providing as a solution to a person. So the atoms could be calls. It could be a template. It could be a support. It could be frameworks. It could be resources. It could be community. It could be training. You're combining all of these results to get the outcome that you're looking for. And the outcome is what you want it to look like. I know that being in this digital marketing space, having AI as AI marketing service transformed from our mortgage brokerage service, but being able to learn all these things, you understand what your offer you want to look like, you versus you. You don't have to do like everybody else. A lot of people in the market, including myself for a moment, had where you book a call. You have people go to a call. What we have done now is change it where you go to a form if you need help, or you reach out into the community and you be able to raise your hand, because the whole concept with the thought process is, especially with the community, why would I want to invest? I don't want anybody to invest anything with me if you can't invest in regards to getting a part of the community. If you can take that first step and click a button in regards to supporting something that the person is doing that's going to help you, that doesn't align with the DNA that we're made up of. Support those who support you. Treat people how you want to be treated. If I spent money with you, you should not have a problem spending money with the other person. So all those free days and the hand me outs and all of that, those days are over. But what you do have to realize is give people value in regards to what it will look like, in regards to how you don't have to land and ever feel alone. So a really good tip when you're creating your offer, right, is to explain to people clearly what is going to be provided in that. So in other words, you get this, whatever the offer is. So you get this, so let's stay with the community. You get this AI legacy circle, builder circle community, so you can keep building 24/7 and never feel like you're alone. You get frameworks so you can take those frameworks in AI and be able to have your concept step by step, A to B. You can get, so in other words, you have so you can, so the person understands what this offer is going to be able to provide for them within your actual script. So every time that you actually pitch on a sales page, a webinar, or whatever, any type of output, when you list out what you're going to get in the offer, be open to explaining clearly in a phrase so you can, so that a person can visualize the transformation in their actual product. So done for you webinar offers or any offers or wherever you write, make sure you have that piece in there. So the quick win is such a huge thing. And what that means again is to get that rush that, yes, I made the good decision in regards to investing with this person, the quick win. So what that does is that kills that early momentum or buyer remorse of getting things done. So you have to be able to build to get you have to be able to build. But a quick win could be something simple and easy to be able to help them not regret moving forward with you. So in other words, what a lot of people do is invest in ads first and be able to get ads to get people into their ecosystem. And this visual here is one of the strategies, one of the strategies that we are going to actually do to get more people within our ecosystem too. So wanting to provide this clarity, because again, for your business, this is a concept or tactic that you can try. Now, this paid advertising tactic was encouraged again by Dan Henry, 8-figure marketer that has done this several times, showed the results. Go check Google Dan Henry millionaire, already there. So what we do is we pattern ourselves after people where we want to actually go. The Myron Goldens, the Dan Henrys, the Daniel Chews. These individuals are in the trenches with us. And so we pattern these things and bring this information to you. So you know, like, how did Adriane and Inika become billionaires? Oh, okay. So they were actually, so you will see too how you can break even bigger markets and create demand with advertising. It's all about mindset. It's all about strategy and building that strategy for you. And here's one of those strategies that we are going to utilize, and we'll keep you posted in regards to the progress within that. So again, building wealth and a legacy, having an experience. This is the endorphin, that quick win that we let people, once they invest with us, they know exactly what's going to happen with our AI experience. Okay, then I can film a video and let people answer the questions. I can get that back to them, and then I answer those and follow up within 24 hours. Clear, concise, what's next in A to B. That's how it should be in regards to your process and being able to get started with you. So in regards to labels is so important, because labels are super important because you have outsiders and you have insiders. outsiders and insiders. So you make people feel like they have inside because they're part of building a tribe, or an audience is making them feel like they're insiders. So you versus you, for example, own it, design your reality. All the different labels that are inside our Building Wealth and Legacy with AI memoir, these are memoirs to help you know that you're in the end game with Adriane Mayes and Anika Gaines, and you're part of our world. So when you're a part of our world, you're going to be talking about the legacy leak strategy, and you're going to understand that the legacy leak strategy will help you get from A to B. And those are labels. Own it. Design your reality. Family, faith, fears, finance, and fitness. If you're walking around and saying, find the link, fits the plan, build the legacy, that's a label that we have created for our brand. And so that gives you that inside pull. And so that way that you know you're within the whole equilibrium of building wealth and legacy of that whole system. So that's what you do. You create these labels, these spices, to encourage people to keep going, to take on your methods and your approach. And that way you call those problems and then solutions, and they like the transformation for them to see you. So, which brings me to spice number 7, the authority. Now, how authority works, which is a little different from proof. Proof, like I described from you in the ingredients, in regards to proof, $32,000 in 30 days, or I lost 28 pounds in 90 days. Proof. Now, authority works a little different. Now, what authority is what I'm showing and demonstrating to you currently. Going live every day consistently. What that is called is getting reps, 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 reps. Experience, being able to say I've done something and that you've done it, it can be proven, and being able to the results of the outcome of it, that's what you can actually claim. Authority answers, why should people listen to you? Why should I pay attention to Adriane Mayes and Anika Gaines? Why learning building wealth and legacy with AI from them when there's millions of gurus out there? You got your Tony Robbins and your Sue Ordsman. You have freaking Robert Kiyosaki, billionaire. Why do you have the authority to be answered to why people should listen to you? Because of your experience. Your experience is one that no one else has had. You never know, and you have to share in hope of saving someone else's life. That's the key in regards to life. So when you find out your method, and everybody doesn't have to be an entrepreneur, that's okay. But those people know who they are. You have that experience. Who wants to get 3 DUIs, driving under the influence, to be able to come back and tell an authentic story of being 32 months sober? I didn't want that story. That wasn't on my vision board. But that's the story that God gave to me in regards to the experience. So the outcome of that experience, what do you do with it? How do you help other people? How do you get yourself from A to B? How do you come through the storm? You know how they say people have a rock bottom, and we all have had one. We've all had rock bottoms, but getting through the rock bottom, getting through it, getting through it. My mind won't even let me say that was a rock bottom, because that means that another rock bottom can come. So let me just say I've been to the trials. I've been to the locations of, but instead of just wearing it all on your face, instead of now being 32 months sober, instead of drinking it my problems away, instead of throwing and pointing the blame and becoming a victim, I'm learning how to own it and design your reality with the family, faith, fears, finance, and fitness. And with this authority, I'm now able to take all this 32 month sobriety and happiness and joy and energy and give it to the world, and the passion that I have provided, that God has given me. And that's being able to share these concepts with you with building wealth and legacy with AI. So that's the difference with authority versus proof. Authority, like I said, it doesn't have to be a tangible dollar amount. Oh, but baby, I got experience and I got reps and I got proof to give you the results of whatever God's got lined up. So Adriane Mayes will have the authority that I can be able to go into the bag and be able to give you some, meet people where they are. Okay. So it's urgency being the next one. Oh my gosh. Urgency, not that fake urgency where they're like, okay, you got the next 48 hours and this deal will go away forever. Not that kind of urgency. I'm talking about the opportunity that will come. You got to be ready for the opportunity. But if you are waiting, if you're just waiting and waiting and waiting and woe is me, and not making that internal work and not doing, why would they pick you over someone else? What do you have and what receipts do you have that shows you when that opportunity comes, you are ready to actually be able to take advantage? I'm not talking about when they have that urgency with well, in 48 hours, this is going to go away. Now that's called urgency as well when you have an offer. I'm speaking of the urgency for you to take action now, as now beats later, especially now in 2026 and beyond. In a world, we have something called AI, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Manus, all of these different AI tools that keep coming, DeepSeek, keep coming about in regards to giving you free education on whatever your why or purpose is. Now that we have all of these free information, you have to, in regards to urgency, you got to get in more. You got to take action for yourself, because if you don't do that, you will be left behind. You see how that train is going and you see the smoke behind it? Now beats later. Your time is now. What does it look like? Is it going to be messy? Yes. Are you going to fail? Yes. Are your feelings going to hurt? Yes. But that's why you have a community. You don't have to be there alone. 24. I mean, so again, these things, and that's how you set up your mindset. Like, okay, all right, fear, face everything and recover. Fear, face everything and recover. I have the urgency to change my current situation, because if I don't take a change or action today, the same place that I was making in regards to my job last year, the same place in regards to my children or my spouse and how they're seeing me, everything that happened in 2025 is going to happen in 2026 and 2027 if I don't make changes now. Now beats later, so that you can get to the best version of yourself. But it only happens when you're taking action with urgency and take on different opportunities, which gets me to the next thing. And this is so huge: objection killers. You're going to have objection killers, but what you do is picture for me a meteor, right? That's actually in orbit. Okay. And so what you want to do is this, as the spaceship is in the asteroid belt, right? So envision we're on Elon Musk, one of his $1 trillion inventions, right? We're out in space and we're on this amazing spaceship, but all these different things keep coming back at you, like objections that's telling you that where you're trying to go is not where you need to go. I don't have any money for this, Adrienne. That's too much, Adrienne. This won't work. Why will this work for me, Adrienne? This worked for you because you're who you are. You're special with the electromechanical engineering degree and a master's in business. No, you can do anything you put your mind to. Don't let all those titles make you scared. No time for things. People have time for whatever they make time for. And in other words, you might have to adjust your scheduling, but handle all of those different objections is the point before you get to the conclusion. Because what happens is, if you take care of all those objections in your presentation, they lose power when handled early. So you're giving a person answering those pain that they're not talking about. You're talking to those internal pains that a person that may be triggering, may be listening, that might be interested in giving you a shot. But what happens is you have to give and conquer those objections that what happened early. So, which brings me to a huge spice that is the anti-gravity. And I was just speaking with this morning with Alan while we were in Bible study. The anti-gravity is huge. You cannot just let everybody into your space. It's one of the questions I asked during my live virtual conversations that we hold every Tuesday since May 6, 2025. Is, one of the questions I asked for that individual is, what is one thing that in your story that you wish you can go back and tell your younger self? And that typically my answer is, because that's my answer is to love yourself. Love yourself through it all. In other words, when anti-gravity, when you got the big bad wolf that comes in, and that's these big bad wolves telling you what you should do or shouldn't do. You should go and do this and go and work here and go and do this opportunity. I could be honest and say, even though the last 4 years have not been easy, the choice of choosing myself, my desire to win in this digital marketing game. Because again, when I saw that Facebook advertisement, when we did Being the Change, it was myself, Unica Gaines, Aja Gaines, and Katrina McCool, and we did a Facebook marketing campaign. And marketing did the campaign or what have you, got 150 Facebook leads at 90 minutes, one sitting. I was like, what is this AI automation thing? I still didn't know what was going on back in 2021. And so I was like, but I was all in to try to figure it out. But what I can tell you, there is no shortcuts to this game of understanding this foundation. There you can keep having that cheap mindset. As I did get started on a $7 program with Jonathan Montoya, but it was an amazing program which kept me going 4 years later. Got a certification in AI with him in 2025. So my point is, not everyone should be in, and that was my problem. Once I got a hold to this AI thing and this automation, I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" So people, it doesn't matter until you get results. That's my point. Just focus on you. Take all of that energy and excitement. Don't do what Adriane Mayes did. I need to do a video. Don't do like Adriane Mayes in this aspect, not in everything, but in some aspects. That anti-gravity is so key because those people, if you bring in the wrong people, your mindset will be horrible, which you'll start making people the villain. And I'm here to tell you, you don't want people to be the villain. You want maybe something larger to be the villain, but people are people. They're going to change. What's not going to change is you in regards to your effort and your activity. The only things that you can control in this world is your effort and your activity. So when I think about the villain, the villain being small thinking, right? We got to have the same funnel. We got to have the most aware. You got to be like the competition. But what the villain does is shrinks the universe and it scraps. Like, for example, an example of a villain would be the government that would have, or the IRS, or Facebook customer service. Like, for example, when I invested in, and I showed on my page yesterday, when I invested in certification with Billie Jean as marketing and became certified as an AI consultant and like, to do Facebook advertising, at the time, Facebook customer service was horrible. We were unable to be able to take our clients comfortably and be able to take their credit card and not get hacked. Like, so many people were getting hacked, fraud. And when you're already in a time of 2024, when people don't have time to lose, you don't have time to, customer service has not been the greatest. So again, all of these different factors that have to go into your business model, and you have to pay attention to them, because what happens is your end result, it's not just because you do this thing and you have to pay attention. There's little factors around that. And that's what the villain happens. And so what happens is you have this thing standing in the way of your end goal, right? Every great message has a shared enemy. So everybody that was in Billie Jean's marketing on our program, and literally in my group and for class number 13, we were all frustrated, like, come on, Facebook. People were losing money. People weren't being able to get phone calls back. They were losing their accounts. So everybody, we were all the same on our team, especially in our little group. We were all on the same team together. Like, you know what, Facebook, you are the villain. Like, but we can't do anything about it to this day. Like, that's the crazy part. Mark Zuckerberg, your customer service game, bro. We need you. You need to tighten that part up. But people follow leaders who fight the same enemy. They like leaders who fight the same enemy. You have billions of people on Facebook, 5 billion people a day on Facebook. And Mark can't figure out the customer service, but you can figure out everything else, bro. You bought Manus. So I guess I just did a shout out to Mark Zuckerberg. Sorry, my friend, but you have to get that together, because customer service allows you to move past the LinkedIns and the Googles and the YouTubes. But until that factor happens, that's all I got. So anyway, in regards to, because customer service is what happens. That's how you win in this game of life. And so we have gone through, and thank you for sticking with me if you're watching here live or if you're watching a replay. But we have gone through several different legacy leak examples, and we're going to give you a couple of more to be able to get your kind of get the breast of what those 10 ingredients and those 10 spices, when they're applied, what it looks like right now in the campaigns that have won in due time. So for example, we've already talked about P90X. They have taken this concept of legacy leak, the legacy leak concept, muscle confusion. They introduced the factor, if you have muscles that are plateaued, you're working out every day, you have fitness goals, and you're not being able to reach it, muscle confusion is the reason why. What's the solution for that? P90X. So what P90X has done is they provided a clear that you're working out hard and you have this thing, but my body isn't adapting. But how do I get there is muscle confusion. So that's the ends of the mean for A to B. And another example that was actually provided here is proactive, right? So Proactive, this is an example to give you in regards to how they're using the legacy leak examples. So proactive changed it from it being a system versus a treatment. So what that means is instead of acne just getting one spot treatment or what have you, it's a whole thing. Proactive said, no, 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 no. You can't just put a little cream on the spot. You got to cleanse it. You have to tone it. You got to treat it. And you have to go through this whole system to get through acne. And so proactive came up with this whole thing. I remember going to, when I was working with my cousin Chris Bosch, and he had to get the proactive for his face. He had acne or what have you, and I had to go to Eaton Center. You had to go to all these different limited locations. Proactive in regards to having all your location available. People talk bad about Amazon and Jeff Bezos. There's some pros and cons to what his concept that he provided. Because some of the products and services, it's the ease of being able to find it at your fingertips. It's an amazing how distribution has happened with that. So again, some products like a Proactive back in 10, 20 years ago, when you didn't have access to it easily, now with Amazon being able to, I know it's a catch-22. People are mad at the monopoly or what have you, but you didn't think of it. He started as a book. So that's what I think about too. As a book author, he started at Amazon. Jeff Bezos started in the basement of his parents' garage with a book team or writing a book. In other words, with books, distribution of books. So you can do anything. Here we are 20 years later and 30 years later, and you see how massive Amazon is. And I'm sharing with you that Amazon is a good solution. So my point is, if you come up with a solution that's so massive that people can understand it, then things make sense. And that's another thing for Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Love, belief. And because he took the reality of what education is. And they actually, another legacy leak. And the concept of being in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where again, active income versus passive income. Poor dad is get a job, work that 9 to 5, save your money, and be able to win in life. Whereas the rich dad said, no, buy assets, make money work for you, invest in real estate and things of that nature. And so same world, but opposite rules. So what Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki was showcasing is, again, remember we had talked about previously that choice. So you have to make a choice. And he chose the rich dad way, meaning buying assets and making money work for him. But again, it's a choice. And it's some people choose the work, the 9 to 5. Some people are more risky and take the rich dad approach. But my point is, in school, and these are the things that they never taught us in school in regards to the education system as for the education, the retirement system. So these things have not, the unemployment system of exposure on how you can be able to get from A to B. And that's what we're tackling, not only with Robert Kiyosaki, but with the Building Wealth and Legacy with AI movement. Example number 4 being the Dollar Shave Club. This is the truth legacy example. Oh my gosh. Like, for example, these overpriced razors, $20. What Dollar Shave Club did, they took out the factor of you're paying for marketing for the blades. It's not the razors. The razors are amazing. They're actually inexpensive. You can actually not pay for the marketing and actually just pay for the actual product with Dollar Shave Club. That's what you're paying for is the marketing, not the blade. So what Dollar Shave Club did, this billion-dollar company, they took out the marketing and went and spoke directly to their consumers to provide them with a product, the outcome that's going to be able to be more effective and save the money at the end of the day. So these are some winning legacy leaks that we went through. Again, so we went through the P90X where your body adapted. We talked about proactive, where acne is a system problem. We talked about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where everything you learned about money is totally wrong. And then the Dollar Shave Club, where you're overpaying for your razors. Different markets, but same pattern with the legacy leak strategy, right? Creating your customer. So thank you. And then the inspiration by Dan Henry, you have to thank him for inspiring the legacy leak framework. As again, traditional marketing starts with going where the masses are. And it's nothing wrong. And I do it too. I'm in Facebook communities. I go and I'm doing that process as well. But in addition to that, finding the leak, fixing the plan, and building the legacy. Finding the leak, realizing that we want to meet masses of people. And it's myself and my business partner, Unica Gaines. How do you do that? Well, you remember your $1 billion strategies of webinar marketing and all of those different strategies. So webinars, mastering communication, taking what you've created to the next level. So you got to plug the leads. You got to plug the, you got to get the engagement. You have to understand the story. You got to create the webinar. You got to create the platform. It's a process, my friends. And if it was an overnight process, trust me, Adriane Mayes would have done it. It's not. You got to go through the work, and you got to go and be able to clearly explain in any room from A to B what your process is. So you're asking, did it work? You like to have results or proof. If you're watching the training, it worked. I took you from, what is the legacy link strategy? What is this thing Adriane Mayes is coming on here live again for? And it's taking you for a before state, right? Where you're confused, guessing, and overthinking. But if you were able to stick with me here live in regards to talking about ingredients and spices and went through the different pages of the explanation, that's called a live demonstration. And so it being able to have that unique mechanism of what is different from everything else, that's giving you a clearer structured path of what the building wealth and legacy with AI movement is. It's nothing magical. It's just the right ingredients in the right order and providing you this information so you too can put the right ingredients in the right order. So you're understanding that, again, you can do it by yourself. And a lot of people understand that you can do it by yourself. You can have the ideas you can take from this workshop. You can go and put the notes together, put the frameworks together and tools if you want to figure it out. But my thing is figuring it out. Why? Is that fun? You can figure it out faster with Adriane Mayes and Anika Gaines and our team, as you're going to have trial and error. You're going to have mistakes, rewrites, second guessing, but you can have fewer mistakes with a team, fewer mistakes with a community. And so you don't need information. You need leverage, because leverage is what changes the game for you. When you look at leverage, that's how you see whether or not people are moving forward in regards to your results. So when I think about you versus you, finally fits the plan, build the legacy. Come build with Adriane Mayes and Anika Gaines. We'll help you choose the ingredients and cook the meal in regards to a good idea, big idea for your unique mechanism, what those ingredients will look like, as well as spices. You versus you, investing in you and providing those solutions on how you can get from A to B. That's what we actually provide as wealth strategists to get you on board. Work with us by going to builder.ailegacycircle.com. It's a short application that you would have to complete. And in that application, we find out your name, your goals, and what you're looking for, and joining the AI Legacy Circle Builder community. Once you actually finish the application, join the community, let us know that you completed it. Send us a message, or actually go in community in your intro. And then we'll be able to evaluate the application, follow back up with you in 24 hours, and provide you insight on how the next steps make sense on working with the Adriane Mayes and Anika Gaines. This application would allow people of all walks. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out trying to figure out things, or if you're actually a master at advanced marketing, or even at the master of your game and you have questions. If it's something about Adriane Mayes or Anika Gaines that stands out with you and you want to work with us, this is the application that you would actually complete to actually get that done. So you versus you, how to get to wealth. Number one, we talked about find the leak, identifying what's draining your time, your money, and your energy. Fits the plan, creating a simple, clear plan that works for you, then building the legacy, building wealth and protecting your family and leaving a lasting impact on time. You versus you, money, taxes, systems, insurance, and estate planning and AI. That's how we actually get to the wealth. If you put all of these and building wealth together, your legacy together, and understand that movement and momentum will get there in due time, you'll know that this too shall pass. Whatever storm you're going through, whatever mindset shift that you're having, whatever problem that's going on in your life, just say the words with me quickly. This too shall pass. My mother, Nancy Mays, would say this to myself and my sister all the time. It would even be at points irritating, because you're like, but my mother is right. She's so right. This too shall pass. And I'll tell you, whatever you're going through, whatever up and down that you're going through, it too shall pass, up or down. So my point is, if you're frustrated before about money or taxes or insurance or estate planning or AI or systems, too much information. It's just overwhelming. And typically what you happens to do is you do nothing when things are overwhelming. And I think about now, what can happen after 30 days and then reset and do it all over again, right? But after 30 days, you know a little bit more. You just 10 minutes of small action each day to help you change. These small actions help you build confidence, help you gain clarity, help you see progress and create change. Because again, if I understand a little bit more about money, a little bit more about taxes, maybe a little bit more about the system or insurance, estate planning, or AI, being consistent in your action, having that clear plan and real change helps you build your legacy. Building that legacy and being able to understand it's going to happen in due time, I'm telling you, it's huge. So let's recap again what we talked about here today. As we talked about a lot of information about the legacy leak strategy. So I want to recap on regards to the different steps, what it means. People are living their lives out here, not actively searching for your tool, your planning, your estate planning, your strategy, your AI, your system, or your education, your financial tool, right? But you have a solution, but that's going to first create resistance. But you first have to make them invisible, the problems invisible, and make them visible. And then, okay, so then you show them the problem. Like, oh, okay, dang, I got a problem. Wow. So this means that something is quietly costing you money, time, protection, or future wealth. And so seeing that, you know that, okay, the opportunity is out there. I might need more customers. I might need another follow-up system. I might have a leak where leads are coming in, but maybe my system is broken. I might need more money, but maybe tax is dead or no savings system or no tracking is causing. Finding that leak is within that conversation to be able to give that exposure. And then going to the discovery, what it means. We got to go through assessments, audits, workshops, questions, how we're able to get to the nitty gritty of where you are. But I didn't know that was costing me money. You got to understand that time, that discovery process, they got to discover your content. They got to find your book, your challenge. You got to be able to discover and open up and diagnose and give them the problem of what's going on to give them that prescription. And then you have to fix the plan, right? Why should I buy this? How do I fix it? That's when they go from unaware to more aware to product solution aware to most aware. So that's where the solutions can include follow-up systems or tax planning or insurance or estate documentation or AI workflows or financial organization or a 30-day legacy experience. Whatever it is supposed to be for you, it's for you versus you. Find the leak, fix the plan, build the legacy. It's not like a typical course, but what it does provide you is information on where to meet you where you are. But how do we do that? We got to do that through conversation. No method is the same, but you're not creating fear. We're helping solve a real problem. You don't know what you don't know. So what this means for you in regards to legacy, stop repairing the same thing over and over. But fixing one leak is good. Now take care of that tax problem you had. Make sure that you have life insurance. Make sure you have home insurance. Make sure that your estate is set up. Make sure you understand that AI can help your life. It's not coming to take your job. It's coming to complement and level you up to take you to the next level. And so when you realize going upstream and you finally got that awareness and you get into the AI Legacy Builder Circle community, you're in there just, oh, here we are. My gosh. So you're helping people discover the leak and they want to fix it and they want to get better, but you hold people accountable. You versus you. Hold people accountable. You versus you. Hold yourself accountable. But that way, the difference when the customers come, you won't be chasing customers. You'll be creating customer awareness and getting to that awareness, revealing that problem. That is the power of the legacy leak strategy because people move from fighting over people already shopping for solutions to creating solutions and being able to move and help people recognize their problems first. Awareness creates more urgency without making fake fear. Don't make people scared of things that they're not scared of. But the power of the legacy leak strategy is being able to create something that you didn't know was out there, fix it, and be able to help others to do the same. So again, this legacy leak strategy, you might have a lot of invisible problems, but we got a lot of lasting solutions. But how do we get to that solution? That's the creativity of understanding where you are, where you want to go, and where you're going. And you don't have to do it alone. The building wealth and legacy with AI movement is here. Enika Gaines and Adriane Mayes are encouraging you not only to invest in our book, but also to invest in the movement. Invest in change. Just 30 days. In 30 days, what can change look like for you? You versus you is jumping into the community and taking action. So again, every day in the month of August inside the AI Legacy Builder Circle community, we're going live. We're making sure we check in. We're being able to show you what's possible in regards to the different lane. And so jump into the challenge, be able to show how this challenge can help for you. And so with the community calendar for today, with today being August the 15th, 2026, the lane or theme for today is insurance. Protect what you've built. I'm always about that life as I am an insurance broker. So again, over 15 years protecting people and making sure whatever they built, their legacy is actually intact. So today in the challenge, you're building wealth and legacy with AI. Insurance is our word for the day. So let's protect what we build. Let's grow and build and engage in the community. Come get a part and be a part of something bigger than yourself, because you don't have to do things alone. And so the code key, my friends, if you didn't get anything for this almost 2 hours, giving you this information live and in effect. It's so funny. So checking at Adriane Mayes and looking at Unica Gaines and myself, and over the last 19 years, having passion, helping people, doing different things, is finally turning a curve. It's finally getting to the point where things of clarity are becoming once over. It's so funny. I never wanted to write a book, but this book, Building Wealth and Legacy with AI, has inspired the movement, has inspired change, has inspired the why that ignites me every morning to get up at 6 a.m. to join with God with Bible study. It's exciting to right afterwards to jump into a presentation of webinars to, if no one shows up or if everyone shows up, to work on the craft of communication, to master the ability to share the message for anyone, different levels. It takes reps. The excitement to be able to share in hope of saving someone else's life where they don't have to go through the same journey. 32 months of sobriety is huge for me, and I'm going to continue to say it until I'm 33 months, until I'm 34 months. And so, in other words, when you play these games with yourself, it's not for applause. It's not for people to say great job, which is cool. The whole purpose of it is for you to remind you of where you used to be. 32 months sober, Adriane Mayes, I could not. Y'all don't even understand. I was the person that walked around and stated, because I am thin, I'll say I'm 140 pounds. But what I will, 145 now. But what I will say, I was that person with alcohol that said, you know how you get the little pooch in your stomach or whatever from sugar, from alcohol? Like, I guess this is a part of the process. You got to have this if you're going to. Alcohol was one of my best friends, and I have divorced alcohol. And having that divorce 32 months ago, it's eye opening. Seeing the things that you do, seeing the changes in yourself, you versus you, it's making this choice for you. It's not that I can't drink. Of course you can drink, but the choice not to do something, putting poison in your body, the choice to have clarity every morning, the choice not to have headaches, to choose maybe optionally throwing up in the porcelain, calling this the porcelain god. So all of these things that I no longer have to actually worry about because I took something out of my equation. Doesn't seem that difficult when I throw it down like that. And the most important that I actually can actually share in regards to transformation in the sobriety journey, I have eczema, right? And so with eczema, that's a skin condition, and things like this, like going live and scared of what people used to think. I honestly cater eczema to one of the reasons I'm single with no children. When men used to talk to me, I would think that they would see the rashes on my face or on my neck or on my arms. Low self-confidence. Now, now at 46, it's all of that is out the window. It's so funny how time works. It's like my eczema is not gone, but it has went into dormant. And again, change happens with your mindset, with your ability. And now I'm living an authentic journey. I'm being vulnerable. I'm being open. I'm an open book. Anything someone asks, I'm going to be able to give the insight, because if I have experience, the authority that we just talked about as the spices in our actual part, I have authority in this actual range, right? I got a PhD, baby, with this. So I am confident to show people what it looks like without it. I'm waiting on that non-alcoholic sponsor to bring my phone because, again, those individuals, kids need to see what it looks like to have fun without alcohol, see what it looks like to graduate and have great things happen without alcohol. Use Adriane Mayes, Lord knows, because again, I know what life can happen, accidents, wasting time, people getting hurt, family and time wasted that you can't do anything about. So instead of me just yelling out from the mountaintops, don't drink, you don't drink, I'm just going to worry about this one right here that I can control me. I just won't drink. And then you'll see what can happen. And then you too might make that choice. The same thing with these webinars. So many people, my tech founders, went to Atlanta in June and had a pitch competition with Justin Burns, Appsville with AI Live, pitching the leapfinderai.com concept to the world, right? Financial education to the world. But when I went up there on stage, it was 12 people on stage with myself. And I looked out into the crowd and it was virtually being taped as well. So being taped to exposed to millions. And so when I was looking at what God provided me as this opportunity, what I saw was different from everyone else. What I saw was a group of founders that I'm an extrovert, I guess. And so a group of founders sitting there in the chairs or on the screen or what have you, looking on, not in indie, but looking to see what the why, right? Why am I listening to this person? But they have all of these hidden gems of their technology that's being created. I just had on live this past Tuesday a founder that created 14 apps. Karen Matthews, she created 14 apps. 5 of those apps she sold. She's under $100,000 contract. These are the kind of things that people need to see. It's great that you can see what can happen when you work at a job. You can level up and go from operational manager, get a supervisor, and that's amazing as well. Please know that I'm not knocking those opportunities as well in the corporate 9 to 5 way. Definitely 100% amazing. When you're in the entrepreneur world, you have to create your own, my friends. You have to make your own levels of opportunity. So I decided to make my gold standard a billionaire. So in other words, you know how people get a plaque for getting promoted? I'll get promoted to become when I'm a billionaire. So that means the work continues. The grind is real. The stories are honest. And I hold myself true every single day when I wake up. I got work to do. So I might take a moment, maybe a 30-minute moment. I didn't even take one yesterday for just to relax, maybe a Netflix and chill, but take a moment but I am all in. You can't stick your toe in. You got to stick your foot in. You got to go all in for your goals, your dreams, your why. And showing people what that looks like. That's what I'm showing. That's what I'm here for. That's what Adriane Mayes is here for, building wealth and legacy with AI. That's why Enika Gaines and I had a found CCC Because We Care Foundation for 16 years. We've got this because this here has to get out to the world. This AI is real. And if you don't join, it's like these excuses that people are making. We just pish posh. The only excuse that has been tackling me and beating me up, and I'm gonna tell you, it's time. It's not money, it's not family, it's not faith, it's not even fear, it's not failure. That's happened. That's not any finance and fitness. You want all of those things. I've been working on my fitness every day. I've been grinding on this finance change. I've been working on my fears. I've been talking to family and making sure, and I've been definitely got faith. So all of those things, my engines are rolling. But when you go all in, when you go all in for you, when you go all in for God, when you go all in for this thing here, it's a whole totally different feeling. And I'm so thankful for God choosing me. Rest in heaven on Gloria for giving me this book 20 years ago. And I am finally going through the book in the book of Revelation and feeling the strongest I've ever felt in life to tackle this thing called life. So I choose the same for you. And I'm showing you what transformation is going to look like. And I'm putting the spark upon you in regards to getting you into the A to B. So thank you for listening if you're here live or even watching a replay as we build and grow. I got the next game that God's got us going into, y'all. Y'all are going to love this. So you want to master the webinar approach, okay? 1 to many. That's what we're working on. The webinar approach. Jason Fladian, the billionaire webinar king. I'm rolling with Dan Henry too, the millionaire webinar king. But Adriane Mayes is going to be the billionaire queen with Enika Gaines, with a billionaire queen of webinars where we're building wealth and legacy with AI all around the world. Listen, it's easy to make sales calls and talk to one person, but get on your live, go live and share with the world your passion and your why. If your why, if you believe in it, why wouldn't someone else? So believe in our why. Go and invest in our community. Get started. We definitely, our book is live on Amazon. We're going to do so many great things in regards to getting these books out here. As our book is not a typical book, it's actually the tools that we got you. There's AI tools aligned with the chapters so that way you can take action to try to get some reps in. Remember, we talked about the reps with the proof and authority. So let's get going, guys. Let's go. Let's take a handle today. Let's keep building because again, I'm gonna put into the actual community how you get in on the screen. Everything happens for a reason. And you're exactly where you're supposed to be today if you trust it. But the problem is, as humans, we don't like to trust. And that's understandable because we've been hurt, we've been failure, we've been all of the things, right? But I'm not going to be another person that just gets up here and tells you that you're going to get X amount and Y amount. Not going to happen. If you don't put in the work and the effort and the activity, your outcomes are going to be limited, but your outcomes will be maximized if you go all the way in on you versus you, nothing else that anyone else can say about it. Quit putting blame on your parents, your spouse, your children, you versus you. And when you get there in this space I'm telling you, when you keep going within this energy space, and then God's going to keep moving you in different ways and testing you and making sure that foundation that we talked about, those ingredients, making sure all those ingredients are ready to cook and give that spice to your story. Be ready for the spice in your story. Be ready to transform. Be ready when the God calls on you. Because baby, if you're not ready and the opportunity will actually pass you, as it has done for me several times, not this time. Adriane Mayes will be ready. And I'm going to make sure you are ready with us in the AI Legacy Builder Circle community. Come on. I'm excited. Get going. Make this Saturday, August 15, 2026, amazing. It doesn't matter if you're in Detroit, Michigan, or around the world. Take in, hopefully, let me know live or in the comments if you enjoyed today's video. I will, I am victorious. You versus you. Find the link, fix the plan, build the legacy. Let's go. I'm sending you on to Saturday. Let's go. Deuces.